everyone, I'm going to show you in this video how to make this absolutely beautiful window pane granny square. That's just what I've decided to call it. You can call it whatever you like, but I just think the little squares that you end up with just remind me of little window panes to peek through. So I really hope that you enjoyed doing this granny square with me, and let's jump straight in. So for this tutorial I'm just going to be using some Paintbox Simply DK that I've got here, and for anyone that's curious, the colour is 125. So I'm using a 4mm hook, but that is only because that's what my yarn recommends, but you can use absolutely any size yarn and whatever the yarn recommends for your hook size. So for this granny square we are going to start with a slip knot. And if you're not sure how to do that, then just nip and check out my beginner series. Now we want to start with a chain of 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're going to turn this into a little ring for us to work our next stitches into. So you want to pop your hook through that very first stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through both of those loops on your hook. And that now has given us a little ring here. So all of the stitches in this particular square will be treble crochets. Now remember, that is a UK term. In the US you will be using your double crochet. So it's the same stitch, just different terms. So you want to chain 3, which is going to class as 1 treble. And then we want to do 4 sets of 2 trebles next to each other. So that's 1, and we're going to do another treble next to it. So you want to yarn over, and then you're going to insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over and pull up, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our first set of 2 trebles. We then want to create our corner space, and our corner space is always going to be a chain 2. And then back into that ring again, you want to do another set of 2 trebles. So yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and another. So if you're not too confident on your trebles yet, you absolutely will be by the end of this project, because that is the only stitch we're going to be using. So we've now got 2 sets of 2 trebles separated by a chain 2, so we want to create another corner now. So chain 2 again, another set of 2 trebles next to each other. That's 1, 2. And now we need to create a corner again, so chain 2, and we now have 3 sets of 2 trebles. So we want 4, so we just need to do 1 final set of 2 trebles. And you must remember to do your final corner. So for your final corner again, you must make sure that you chain 2. And then we are going to finish off this round with a slip stitch to the top of this chain 3. So you want to find your 3rd chain from the bottom. So you've got 1, 2, and this is my 3rd chain at the top here. So I'm going to insert my hook into that space and yarn over and slip stitch. That's pulling through both loops. So that now is our beginning square. So once we get going, it is a very easy pattern to remember. It's very repetitive, it's just the 2-row repeat. So now we're going to move on to row 2. So you want to chain 3, 2 and 3. And that chain 3 is going to count as the treble for the top of this treble here. So we've done that one now, and what we want to do is work a treble into the top of each treble from the previous round, and we're going to be working trebles into our corner stitches. So that, as I say, the chain 3 counts as the treble for the top of this one. So now we need to treble into the top of the next stitch. so which is going to be this treble here. So you want to yarn over and you're going to insert into the top of that treble. And whenever you do this, make sure that you get the V at the top of the stitch, so make sure you've got the 2 loops from the top of the stitch, and complete your treble. And in the corner spaces, the new corners are going to consist of 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles, all into the corner space. So you're going to go straight into your corner and do 2 trebles. And you're going to create the new corner space now by chaining 2, and then back into that very same space you're going to do 2 more trebles. So you'll have 4 trebles separated by the chain 2. So that has created your new corner. You then want to work a treble into the top of these 2 trebles. Now make sure you don't go into the wrong space here, because the top of this first treble can sometimes get a little hidden underneath your trebles there. So you want to make sure that you go into the top of that very first treble. And again, always make sure that you have got the V. So that's 1, and into the top of the next. And then again, you're at your corner space. So again, you want to create your new corner by doing 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. That's 1, 2, chain 2 to create the corner space, and back into that same space again, 2 more trebles. And 2. And again, working into the top of these next 2 trebles, so always make sure you catch the top of that first treble, don't miss it or skip it, and again into the top of the second treble, and again create your corner. So 2 trebles, chain 2, and 2 trebles, all into that very same corner space. And we might as well just finish this round off together. So again, work a treble into the top of these final 2 trebles, 1, and into the second, and then when you need to create your final corner. So 2 trebles, chain 2, and 2 trebles. And then we are back where we started this round from, and we want to close with a slip stitch again to the top of that chain 3. So once again, close with a slip stitch. So that is the first 2 rounds of your square, and this is how you should be looking at this point. We are now going to move on to row 3, and this is where we are going to create our first little window pane sections, as it were. I'm really sorry if you can hear that awful noise from outside, but it's just someone using what I assume is a very big lawnmower. So we have now got 6 trebles between our corner spaces, and we are going to be doing a treble onto the top of the 3rd and 4th treble. So we are in the top of the 3rd treble at the moment, so we're going to chain 3 again, and then we want to work into the top of the 4th treble. So into the top of the very next treble you want to make sure you work another treble. So it does look slightly off the top of this stitch because of where we've slip stitched, but it is this very next stitch just here. So that is our 2 trebles onto the 3rd and 4th trebles. We're now going to chain 2 because we want to skip over the top of the next 2 trebles. So we've chained 2 and we are going to skip the next 2 trebles, which will take us to our corner space. and you're going to create your normal corner space here. So you're going to do 2 trebles, chain 2, and your 2 trebles into that same corner space. And now again, we're going to skip the first 2 trebles, and we're going to work a treble into the top of the 3rd and into the top of the 4th treble. So chain 2 so that we can skip across, and then 1 treble into the top of the 3rd and 1 treble into the top of the 4th. Again, chain 2, and we're going to skip the next 2 trebles and work a corner. So in that corner space, 2 trebles, chain 2, and 2 trebles. 1 and 2. Again, you're going to chain 2 because you want to skip across the first 2 trebles, and you're going to do a treble into the top of the 3rd and the top of the 4th. So 1 and 2, and then again chain 2 and skip the next 2 trebles, and again work your corner in your previous corner space. So 2 trebles, chain 2, and 2 trebles. And again you'll chain 2, and then you will skip 2 trebles and work a treble into the top of the 3rd and the 4th, chain 2, create your new corner, and I will meet you just as you finish creating your new corner in this final chain space. So I've just created my final corner and I'm ready to close off this round, so I need to make sure that I chain 2. You mustn't forget to chain that 2 to skip across these 2 trebles. And you are then going to slip stitch again into the top of your chain 3. And again, this is how you should be looking at the moment. And we are now going to move on to the next round, which is again creating a solid row. So you're going to have a row of the window pane, as it were, and then a solid stitch row, and then the row of window panes again. So chain 3, and that counts as the treble for the top of this treble, and then treble into the top of that next treble. And in your chain 2 space, you're going to do 2 trebles. So that's 1 and 2. And then in the 2 trebles that are in your corner, you want to do a treble into the top of both of those. That's 1 and 2, and then we are in the corner space, so you want to create your new corner. So as always, that is 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles, all in that same corner space. You will do that every single round. And then again, we're going to work down this next side here, and so you want to do 1 treble into the top of these first 2 trebles. And remember, this first one can be tricky, but make sure you don't skip it. It is slightly hidden under those stitches, but this is the top of that first treble. So 1 and into the top of the next treble, and again we're at a chain 2 space now, so you want to do 2 trebles in that chain 2 space. That's 1 and 2, and then again 1 treble into the top of this set of trebles, so 1 and 2, and then again we're at another chain 2 space, so you're going to do 2 trebles in that chain 2 space, and then a treble into the next 2 trebles. Oops. 1 and 2, and then again you should be at your corner space where you will create your same corner as always. So 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. And so if you want to carry that on now, doing your treble in the top of each treble, 2 trebles in the chain 2 space, and each corner you need to create a new corner. So 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles into the corner space each time. And I will meet you as you get back towards the other end. So I've created my last corner and I've worked into the top of these 2 trebles. I still need to work into these chain space here. So I need to do my 2 trebles into this final chain space, and then I'm ready to close off the round with a slip stitch again to the top of that chain 3. So if you wanted to, obviously, and you only wanted to have small squares, you could stop here and make a blanket or something out of lots of small versions of this square, or you can keep going. So I will do another round with you now to show you as we work on how to get the little window panes. So your little treble clusters together always want to be on top of each other. They shouldn't be staggering out diagonally or anything. They should always line up on top of each other every time. So you will always chain 3 and then treble into the top of the next stitch, and that will always create your very first little pane section. And then you will chain 2, skip the next 2 trebles, which are these 2 trebles here, and then you will work into the 2 after that. So you'll skip 2 and then 1 treble into the top of the next 2 stitches, and then again you will chain 2 and you will skip the top of the next 2 stitches, which will bring you to your corner, and you will create the exact same corner every single time. So it is always going to be that 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 more trebles. That will always be the same. So I've created my new corner. I'm going to chain 2, and again you will skip the first 2 trebles, and into the 3rd and the 4th you will work 1 treble, chain 2, skip 2 and 1 treble into the top of the next 2 stitches, chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and then 1 treble into the top of the next 2, 1 and 2, and then again you will chain 2, skip the final 2 trebles, and you'll create your new corner again. Chain 2 and the final part of my corner. So that is how this row is going to work up. So if you want to carry on doing that now, so you will chain 2, skip 2 and then 2 trebles into the next 2 stitches, and you'll again do that all the way along, create your corner as normal, and I will meet you as you get towards the other side and we will finish off this row together. So I'm just getting towards the end of this round now, and I want to chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. Now you will notice obviously that mine is curling slightly, and that's why I would definitely recommend not finishing your square on one of these window pane rows. You will always be better if you were finishing your square to finish on one of the solid rows, because it pulls these stitches out to make them much flatter. So I'll just do this final row with you now, but after that you will just be able to repeat that pattern but increasing your stitches every time, and you'll be able to make it as large as you want it. So as always, we're going to chain 3 and then a treble into the top of that next stitch, and then we're at the chain 2 space where you will do 2 trebles, a treble into the top of the next 2 stitches, and again 2 trebles in the chain 2 space, and then 1 treble into the top of these final 2 stitches. It's 1 and 2. You're then at your corner space, so create your normal corner, and then again you will work trebles into the top of the trebles, and 2 trebles into your chain 2 spaces, and you will repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you at the other end in a minute. So I've done my final 2 trebles into that very last chain 2 space, and I'm just going to close off as always with that slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. So as you can see, it sits much flatter after one of the solid treble rounds. So when you come to finish your blanket, always make sure that you finish on a solid round. Let's just pull that out for a second. So that now is how my square is looking. I really like the effect that you get with this particular pattern, and again this will be a beautiful size to stop at to make a large blanket or throw or something. So this is after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is after 6 rounds, and it's a really nice size to stop at. But again, you can just repeat that pattern over and over and over again and make a really large square blanket. But that is it for the little window pane granny square. I really hope that you like it as much as I do, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click that little bell button, and I will see you for another tutorial very soon. Bye for now.